2026 and you're still a couch potato. You're not trying to become disciplined. You struggle with procrastination. In this video, I'm going to explain the 3 things that I changed in my life and in my routine that made me do all the habits I said I would do. I transitioned from a couch potato to a fucking hard motherfucker that can be compared to fucking David Goggins himself. I'm kidding, I'm nowhere near David Goggins. But there's only 3 tips. By the way, if you don't know who I am, I'm Jensen. I'm a self-improvement creator and I enjoy bodybuilding. That's all you need to know, okay? But before I explain the 3 things, you need to hear my story first. I'll put a timestamp to where all those 3 steps are, the 3 habits that you need to incorporate in your routine. But I think you need to hear my story to get a better understanding of why these actually work. So roughly a year ago, I had a gym-related injury. I partially ripped my tricep tendon. If you know what the tricep is, you know, it doesn't matter, I got injured. So I really loved the gym. You know, I was going to the gym almost every day. That got taken away from me. It's probably the reason I got injured, because I was training so often, but whatever. You know, but that was the only discipline thing I was doing. You know, I said to myself, you know, I want to do all these other habits. I want to start meditating. I want to start reading, doing more homework, studying. Bitch, I didn't do nothing. But why? The injury opened my eyes to the actual reason why I was procrastinating so much. You see, when I got injured, a thing got taken away from me. The gym. The gym was the only thing I looked forward to in the day, you know, apart from actually, you know, meeting with friends, you know, partying, whatever. But most of the time it was just the gym. And obviously when you get injured from the gym, you'll need to take time off and come back slowly, very slowly. It took me half a year. So in this half a year, you know, I didn't have anything to do. Well, apart from rehabilitation shit, which is boring as shit, so I didn't look forward to that at all. But what I did partially look forward to was the self-improvement habits. I started reading more, I started meditating more, journaling, all the habits that I said before the injury I would do, but somehow magically I'm doing them. And it wasn't like I got bothered to do it. You know, I actually got up from bed knowing, oh, we need to read, let's read. I read straight away. But why? This is where we're going to get into the first rule. Do the suckiest thing first. The hardest thing of the day. Now, I don't mean from difficulty, I mean from entertainment. You see, for me, the gym was the most entertaining thing, and for the most unentertaining thing was reading. You know, I don't want to read. I was like, you know, I don't want to read, bro. I want to pump some fucking. I want to pump. I want to give you back some. No homo. You need to do the hardest thing to get it out of the way. So for me, for example, the hardest thing, it isn't exactly the hardest thing. You need to separate difficulty from entertainment. So the gym should be difficult, you know? You're pushing yourself hard. It's draining, physically draining. But for most people, not for most people, for some people, they love that. They love to get those pumps. They love to push themselves as hard as they can. It's difficult, but they still love it. So this is the thing. Whatever the thing, even if it's the hardest thing in the day, if it's still the thing you enjoy the most, you're going to do this at the end of the day as the very last thing. The first thing you need to do is not the most difficult, you know, maybe it is the most difficult, but the most draining, limp dick activity. Which for me, that was reading. I know, I got up, I was like, oh my god, I need to read. But I did it anyway. Because I realized that, okay, once I get these done, I can go to the gym. So I sat down, I read, I did this and that. could go to the gym. So that's the first rule. Do the hardest thing first, not difficulty wise, but the most mentally draining wise. The second rule, you need to actually have a schedule. You know, if you just decided to wake up one day and say, okay, I know I want to do this, I want to go to the gym and I want to do this, but you've no idea, you just woke up and it's already 11 a.m. You know, you're fucked. The day is almost half over. So you need to set up a proper schedule. But once you understand the two most, you could say probably the most important, but I think this last tip is going to be the most important, and you should really take this into account. Now, what I said is to set up a schedule and do everything you said from hardest to easiest, or the most annoying to the most enjoyable. But most likely, if you do that, you're gonna cave in the first 2 days. This tip is gonna be your lifesaver. Apply progressive overload to the habits. What I mean by that. So for the gym rats and gym cells out there, you'll know what I mean. But for you guys who don't do the gym or whatever, I'm gonna briefly explain it. So what the basic principle of progressive overload is, one day you push yourself right to your limit, okay? You push yourself to your current limit so that the next time your limit grows, so you're able to do more, and then you push yourself to its new limit. And then you do that over and over and over again to when your limit is already double. So basically, when you push yourself to your limit's basically whatever, you'll be able to tolerate more the next time. Only a little more, just a little more. In gym terms, that would be, so if I were in the gym, I was doing bench press. Let's say I could do 60 kilo on the bench press for the first time, okay? Let's say I could do 6 reps or something. I could do six reps, you know, I did the 6 reps, and then the 7th, I could not get. So with the combination of right recovery and nutrition, the next time when I do the bench press again, I would be able to do 60 kilo for 7 reps. Wow, my limit is suddenly better. You know, I got the 7th rep, the 8th, couldn't get it. And then the next time I can do 8, the next time I do 9. I just grew my tolerance. And this is the exact principle you need to apply to your disciplined habits. If you expect to be able to read 2 hours when all you do all day is jerk off, play video games, watch hentai, if that's all you do in the day, how do you expect to suddenly read 2 hours? It's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen. Instead of trying to do, like, basically, this same mindset is trying, let's say, the same mindset could be compared to trying to bench with 100 kilos on the first day of your gym. No, you can't, you're not gonna be able to do that. You have to start off with the bar. You have to start off learning how to push the bar off your chest, how to use proper form. Then you can start adding weight slowly, just 1.25 kg plates on each side. And over time, over practice and consistency, you will be able to bench 100 kg. Why should it be any different with these habits? So for example, you're trying to cut down your screen time. You know, it's 5 hours, you're cooked. How do you expect to be lower to 1 hour? In no world will you be able to do 5 hours to 1 hour. No, that's not gonna happen. You might try, it'll be too hard and you'll give up. Instead of trying to go to 1 hour, we'll set as a goal. We're wanting to lower our screen time from 5 hours to 1 hour. But that's not, you can't just go from there to there. You'll need to build many steps. So instead of trying to go straight to 1 hour, you'll just do 4.5 hours of screen time. So you'll set a limit for 4.5 hours for a week. Then the next week, you'll do a limit of was 4 hours. Then the week after that, 3.5. The week after that, 3. Again and again and again and again until you reach 1 hour. And guess what? It wasn't that hard, was it? You know, everybody has a limit to anything, you know. I have a limit of how much I can bench. I also have a limit of how much I can read until I just want to rip the pages and fucking jump out a window. So instead of trying to jump from this to that, use progressive overload. Use many steps to get to your goal. Again, instead of screen time, say you want to read. You've never read a word since since the last time you were in school, which is probably a month ago, because you just sit down and jerk off all the time. You need to break your jerk off streak. So let's say you're trying to read. Instead of trying to say, okay, I'm going to read 2 hours. No, just read 5 pages. 5 pages. If that is still too much, then start with 1 page. Start with a half a page. Start with reading a sentence, okay? But most likely you won't have to start that low. You can start with 5 pages. Read 5 pages, even if it only takes you 10 minutes. Stick with that. Do that every day for the next week. And then next week, do 6 pages. Or if you're confident, maybe you might be able to do 10 pages. Then do 10 pages. And then you can start adding time. So then, instead of just reading 10 pages, you can do it within time, you know. Maybe you actually read fast, so maybe you actually complete 10 pages within like 20 minutes. So instead of that, you might be reading 10 pages in 30 minutes, so then you do an hour, and then how many pages you read in the hour, and then you can slowly progress from there. And that's the 3 steps to progressing and actually doing the habits you say you want to do. So if you don't actually know how to be disciplined in 2026 after you just heard these habits and these steps, then dislike this video, report me to YouTube, say I'm a pedophile, did some questionable things to whatever, report me to YouTube, accuse me of anything, and I don't know, just close the app and start jerking off, okay? But you should know how to do that. And if you know roughly what to do, come back to this video in a week. And if these steps actually helped you, I want you to get me a subscribe, okay? Then turn the dislike to a like. Subscribe to me to know what to do.